Brenden Slaughter, Keenan, Puncocher here for BeaversEdge.com. Oregon State fell to Arizona State 52-24. Oregon State's rush defense, again, just really the Achilles heel so far. Keenan, what did you see today, and how come Oregon State wasn't able to take that step forward that they talked about all week in practice?
Well, from what we heard in the press conference, it was just fundamentals. It was missed tackles over and over and over again. We heard Jalen Moore and Jonathan Willis talk about that they just didn't execute. They do those things in practice and they look good, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't happen on the field here tonight. Benjamin, Arizona State's running back, 30 attempts on the night, 300 yards, had multiple touchdowns, and that, of course, opened up the passing game. Danny Wilkins only attempted, I think, 15 passes, but threw for 3 touchdowns. Oregon State just, I think, offensively was there. They had flashes. Obviously, we saw Jamar Jefferson. He set the record for most rushing yards against Arizona State ever by a single player. But that, at the end of the day, the defense just over 500 yards. You're not going to win any games.
Well, it's obviously it's frustrating because when you talk about Jalen Moore and Jonathan Willis, right? A junior and a senior. You shouldn't be having those kind of tackling issues that deep into your college career. And at this point, it's almost just like we asked Jonathan, it's like getting the idea of losing and the idea of bad habits. And it's just, I think Oregon State fans have to understand and have to be patient, because I still think you're playing catch up from a couple really bad years of coaching.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's why when we saw Connor Blount today, he was pretty upset. He looked visually upset in that press conference. He kind of paused to answer some questions, and you could tell this loss meant a lot to him. And I think as much as that's fair, I also, like you said, you have to realize this is first year under Smith. There's a lot of rebuilding, obviously, with Anderson departing. There's a lot still going on, and I think that, like you said, you like those seniors and juniors to step up and make those plays. But I think also at the end of the day, the defense, we saw very few penalties from the Beaver team all around. Of course, there was a roughing the passer from Key Wetzel that was questionable. A couple of those were questionable, but I think the fundamentals are the biggest thing, and those can be fixed and tweaked. And you heard Jonathan Smith say that the players are buying into the process that he's trying to implement. They just have to go out and do it.
It's going to take time, and obviously, fixes and changes don't happen overnight, and that's obviously a frustrating process, especially when you're so close and you're already showing you have the ability on offense. But it's going to come down to they need to get more guys in, they need to get more depth, and we talked about that in the press conference. And really, more than anything else, the team just needs to grow together, and they need to learn how to win. And unfortunately, it could be another long season for Oregon State this year, but I know that good things are on the horizon for them, because we're seeing a group that wants to compete, a group that wants to win. And like you mentioned, Connor Blount visually upset. That's what you want to see out of your quarterback.
Yeah.
You want to see a guy that's like, we should have won this game.
Yeah.
That's what you're wanting to see. So it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to bounce back. They're back at home against Washington State next week. I think they match up well with the Cougars. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. And then, again, last thing, just Jamar Jefferson. I mean, what can you not say about this kid? He's going to be special for Oregon State, just real quick.
Yeah, his performance was almost equally as impressive for Benjamin. Didn't quite hit the 300-yard mark, but he just, I think, averaged almost 10 yards a carry. We heard Coach Smith say he has good vision, good patience. Those are all attributes you want from your running back. He was fantastic, and I think he is special. Obviously, Artavis Pierce right now is probably, he's like, oh, I got to work a little harder for that starting job. So this true freshman is special, and like I keep telling you, kind of came out of nowhere.
That'll wrap it up for us here at Sun Devil Stadium. Again, the final score, Arizona State 52, Oregon State 24. The Beavers now dropped to 1-4 on the season. They face Washington State next Saturday, 6 p.m. in Reser Stadium. Stay tuned to BeaversEdge.com for all the coverage from Keenan, Puncocher, and myself, live from Tempe, Arizona. Thanks for watching.